Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're finding out how many dragons we need to defeat Stockfish. The dragon moves like a knight and a bishop. Let's get started with game number 1. Alright, game number 1, you see we have exactly one dragon on the board, and it does in fact move like a bishop and also like a knight. Now, just to be rigorous, I've decided to start with exactly one dragon, but the odds that we defeat Stockfish level 8 with one piece, in this case the dragon, is pretty darn slim. Okay, we do get the sacrifice, Stockfish playing this very efficiently. So we'll use this basically as an opportunity to give some context. I only recently found out about this thing called fairy Stockfish, and it's called fairy Stockfish because it plays as Stockfish but with fairy pieces. I would point towards mine as an example, but as you can see, it is missing from the board. We'll walk towards the center to try to prolong the inevitable mate. And with that, we do lose game number 1. Let's go ahead and add a dragon. All right, we now have 2 dragons on the board. I still think this isn't nearly enough material to win, but I do think we have better odds now. Okay, we get checked immediately. It's probably a little too cheeky to start walking upwards with the king. Let's target the queen. And we can in fact take back. So this is already better than the last game, but unfortunately for us, fairy Stockfish seems to be very efficient about simplifying the position where necessary to get the mate. Okay, and obviously, were Stockfish to push all of these pawns, there's no way for me to stop all of them, so we're just gonna hang on for dear life for a little bit here. Oh, that is absolutely baller. I didn't even consider the fact that the bot can actually promote to a dragon. Now, it's really interesting that it decided to promote to a dragon, unless it's also possible that dragon is a forced promotion. Wait, no, it's not. In the first game, they promoted to a queen. Okay, so I wonder why. Maybe the dragon is right up there in terms of value with a queen, which is really kind of counterintuitive, considering the fact that I don't really know how to use the dragon. Is that a free? Oh, it's not free because their dragon can take and give check. Okay, we have one legal move. And with that, we do lose game number 2. Okay, but I think we did learn a little bit of an interesting piece of information, which is that it actually chose to promote to a dragon, which I think is a good sign. Let's go ahead and add another dragon. All right, we now have 3 dragons on the board. It's a much more promising position. I don't think there's any way for them to coordinate immediately, but I'll try to set up a little sneaky. Oh, okay, sure. Just push E7 in my face, and immediately that is no longer a viable plan. I guess I should be focusing on development. Development is a little bit different when you don't have any pawns that can sort of protect your king. Queen develops, so this is a very concrete threat, but I can just move back. So I'm going to retreat this dragon. We get the check anyways, but we can move back and everybody's defended. But yeah, this is the issue. The king is basically butt naked, so there's nobody there to actually protect him. We do get traded off. There was nothing I could do because the dragon was pinned to the king. I can take that, but it just takes back. Let's shuffle out of the way. We're still defending back here, but again, Stockfish does, to nobody's surprise, play the most efficient move and put more pressure on our dragon. Wow, I might actually be in Zugzwang here. Have no choice but to move the king. Wow, it goes for the queen sack, which is highly amusing, but I guess it doesn't really matter since it was probably going to trade off both of those pieces anyways, and my nudie butt king is not going to do anything against all of these pawns, but run around like a chicken with its head cut off. All right, we tried to run around for a little bit, but ultimately we do get checkmated. Let's go ahead and add another dragon. All right, we now have 4 dragons on the board. And the cool thing is this is actually very applicable to real chess. Because if you're ever losing a chess game, you can just add another dragon onto the board. Okay, obviously I say that tongue in cheek, but I remember playing this when I first started the channel. I just never knew that fairy Stockfish existed. Okay, we're immediately pinned. I'm gonna have to be a lot more careful about these pins because it's basically a free way for the bot to trade off clearly weaker pieces for a dragon, which we've already seen has to be at least up there with the value of a queen. Okay, let's shuffle back. I still have hope for attack on F7, but what about bishop E6? Of course. It's funny because precisely because I used to play bots on this channel all the time, particularly Stockfish and the Magnus bot, etc. I'm quite accustomed to having an idea and knowing that the bot's next move is probably going to be the most efficient thing for cutting off that idea before it even spawns on the board, which is absolutely brutal, but at least you know you're getting a good game out of it. Okay, this knight is quite annoying, but I don't think it's actually threatening anything. But unfortunately for me, it seems I'm just playing the waiting game, which is absolutely not what I wish to be playing. On the bright side, everybody defends everybody else. Oh, I have no choice but to sacrifice a dragon here, yeah. Again, we've got a nudie butt king in the middle of the board, and it's not particularly easy to defend. Okay, it's just the king and one other dragon, but as you can see, Stockfish now has way fewer pieces than it did when it first began the game. The real question is, how many more dragons am I going to need to start trading off enough material to the point that it's actually a close call? All right, we might as well speed through this as well. I will say, Fairy Stockfish is not particularly inventive because it definitely does give us the exact same checkmate every single time. It is horrendously efficient though. All right, let's go to move on to 5 dragons. All right, 5 dragons now on the board. I feel like we're at the point now where we can start at least thinking about actual attacking ideas. Okay, there we go, the very efficient e6. Stockfish probably wants to develop the bishop and the queen. The bishop is stopped from giving check, so I'm gonna stop the queen from doing the same idea. Again, it's playing defensive from the get-go, but I don't really have the luxury of doing anything more unique than that. Okay, d5, immediately going for central control. We'll attempt to do the same thing, if only in vain. Let's go ahead and take and start simplifying. I like this little stack. I don't think it actually does anything considering the piece moves on diagonals and alternating color squares. I don't think a stack of pieces actually does anything for us, but I'd be lying if I said it doesn't look cool. Okay, let's try for this, supported by the dragon. Bishop to e7. It's very tempting to sacrifice here. Unfortunately, I don't think it's justified. So let's double down on protecting the dragons. Oh, and then we do get the queen sack, okay. Pawn forward, we can sacrifice here. We're losing a lot of material, but at this point, I'd rather play for the win and get destroyed than play extremely passive. Okay, we can actually take here with check, which is really interesting because it's also a fork. All right, we can take back. And this is more so proof of concept than anything else, because obviously we're not going to win this game. But again, we've started eliminating a few more pieces every single game. All right, we are getting just kicked into a corner with the exact same mate. Let's go to move on to 6 dragons. All right, 6 dragons on the board. And by now you might be thinking, okay, at this point you should just add like 2 rows of dragons and go for it. But you'd be missing the point, and that is that we do science on this channel. Now, if my science were so precise, why would I add 4 on this side and 2 on this side when I clearly should have added another one here to have 3 and 3? I have no valid justification for that. But I do have big hopes and dreams of even sacking on e6. I'm willing to do anything at this point, just for the taste of victory. Let's go ahead and trade that off right away. Knight to f6. Let's start developing our pieces. And I think we might have ideas of like sacking on f7 eventually. And when I say eventually, I mean possibly not even in this game, but in the future of these series of games. Okay, we get kicked out immediately, quite rude, but probably the most efficient way of doing that. We'll simplify on d5. I'm getting a little bit more vision as to how exactly the piece works, which I'm quite happy about. We'll go for these trades. Okay, Stockfish is quite happy with sacking there, which makes a lot of sense. Maybe this is worth something. Let's move out of the way. As long as I'm not losing a dragon to any silly idea, I think we're good. Okay, rook comes up, hitting the dragon sort of with tempo, but I can sort of meet that with a check, which obviously supersedes the attack on the dragon. We will take on g7 with this dragon because I don't even want to give Stockfish the possibility of sacrificing on e6. Okay, rook to f8. Dragon back threatens check, but we could just simplify there and we'd achieve basically the same end, which is trading a dragon for a rook. Again, we're getting closer, certainly, but I don't think we're at the point where we can actually force a victory. So let's go ahead and just take, move back. I'd be quite happy to see a fork appear on the board, but it seems for the meantime, we're just going to grab this material. And again, that's probably not the best way to fight this out, but as a visual sort of proof, you can see that we're getting much closer. I knew I was going to sacrifice. I knew I was going to sacrifice the knight. Fairy Stockfish does not care whatsoever. It knows that the queens are inbound. But as I said, this is sort of a proof of concept that we're getting much closer to material equality. Let's move up, and we do get mated. Okay, let's go to move on to 7 dragons. All right, finally we get the rightful dragon on h1, and we've now quite populated the position with dragons, so in theory there should be some fun ideas here. Okay, the knight comes and blocks. Let's triple down on that square. If I take, the opponent takes. I take, the opponent takes back, and I don't have enough pressure on that square. So we will elegantly insist. There are some ideas here of just sacking and then taking on e5, and I think I'm going to go directly for that idea. Because if I allow the bot to develop its pieces, then it's, oh goodness, I was going to say that it's pretty much game over. Okay, we now have a quadruple stack here, which is, wow, very efficiently nullified by the queen pin. So we'll break the pin with another dragon. We can take, oh, and this is beautiful. Hits the queen, hits the rook. Queen comes down to e3. There's no way there's mating ideas there, so we're just going to capture the rook. Capture the pawn as well. The bishop develops. Okay, this has to be critically close to winning, if not winning already. I'll have to see what the eval bar says after, because that's the other thing that Fairy Stockfish offers is an evaluation bar, which is absolutely amazing. Okay, what do I do here? Threaten the queen? Oh, we get the queen sack. Oh wait, that's critical, isn't it? I just take back. I mean, these two pieces are not going to mate me by themselves. I could just sacrifice. Is it worth it though? Because I could also just move out of the way and just play with my dragons, and there's a whole lot of pressure on that position. Yeah, despite everything I've played, I'm just going to shuffle out of the way, I think. Nice, we take here with check. And careful that there's a forking idea here. Nice. We pick up the bishop. Okay, definitely this was the right move to make, at least as far as things played out. Let's move the king up to e3. Shuffle him over. There's no more checks. There is a pin, so c5 is unfortunately an idea on the board, but we kind of just move out of the way. Ooh, another check. Why can't I just keep advancing? Give me more of your pawns. It's just such a hard position to hold on to. And the funniest part is I'm sure that Fairy Stockfish is seeing ideas that I don't even see, tactics with the dragons that it's afraid of, that I don't even know are on the board. But that's kind of the method of the game. Okay, we definitely catch this pawn. There's no more space for it to run. And the cool thing about the dragon is it actually can mate by itself. So hypothetically, were this king on a8 and this king were far, far away, you can drop the dragon on c6. As a knight, it covers these two squares, and as a bishop, it covers b7 and also delivers check. So there's definitely mating ideas. I just have to make sure I don't accidentally stalemate the opponent, although I think it's quite unlikely. All right, check. Question is, how do we actually get the king into the corner? Check again? He's kind of just running away. I guess we'll use our own king to sort of bully him to the side of the board. We just have to be very careful that we don't deliver a stalemate by accident. Oh, this might be forced mate? Oh, I'm not sure. Check. I'd like to see the mate before I play it. Oh, is this mate? No, the king comes up. Okay, what about this? King has nowhere to go. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, sure. Let's move it like a rook at the last second. Okay, so that doesn't work. Surely there's something here though. Check. Oh wait, the king can't come up. It moves like a bishop as well. Oh, this surely is mate. Nice, and with that, we win our game against Fairy Stockfish, and it only took us, how many, 7 different dragons? Honestly, that's pretty good. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you guys want to try this out for yourself, go to piechess.org and you can play variants against Fairy Stockfish. Let me know down below what other fairy pieces I should try to use on the site against Fairy Stockfish, and I will see you guys in the next one.